Hi, I'm Tracey Soltis.
And I'm Kali Alfaro. And you're listening to the Mind Body Studio, a place for anyone who wants to reach their full potential, thrive, and create a life filled with vitality.
Each week, we'll bring you our expertise, giggles, and a splash of quirky to explore real and relevant topics to help you along your life's journey.
We'll bring you science, psychology, and practicality to real life issues.
So, thanks for listening. We know you're going to love it. All right, welcome back, everybody, and welcome to our special Q&A segment.
Hello and welcome, everyone.
So today's question was around, given the fact that we're heading into the winter months now in Perth, how can I increase and make of benefit my immune system?
I love this because there are so many myths out there and there's so much information floating in the ether that this topic is huge. So we're actually going to dedicate a whole episode to it later on, but we really wanted to jump on this one because we are heading into winter and we want to, give a couple of tips to people.
Yeah, and I think that's great. And so first, I think the number one thing is sleep. So making sure that you are getting ample sleep at nighttime. That is the best way to start rebuilding and looking after and nurturing your immune system. And the reason I say that is because while you're sleeping, you're actually cleaning the body. So the cells in your body are actually self-cleaning. So if they're not given enough time to do that, or if they're full of toxins, medications and alcohol and all sorts of other little things floating around in there, then they aren't getting the cleaning that they need. So it's very important that your first port of call when you're looking after your immune system is to get adequate sleep every night.
I absolutely agree. The next best thing that I want our listeners to focus on is reducing stress. And I know that is like a massive topic, but stress is actually the number one killer. Stress has a direct correlation to most diseases. And when we are stressed out all of the time, we activate the body's central nervous system. It goes into that emergency mode, into survival, and all of the behind the scenes stuff that needs to happen during the day, like your red and white blood cell reproduction and the repairing of the tissues and all of these things don't get an opportunity to do their job during the day. So then we carry that into sleep and then the body doesn't rest. So finding ways that are creative and not excessively time consuming to reduce stress is really, really fantastic. So I'm just going to rattle a few right now. One of the things is having a really good mindset. So even if you are overwhelmed, even if you have a lot on your plate, really coming back to a sense of gratitude for what you have, even just like gratitude for being able to have the time to listen to this podcast right now, right? It can be as small as that. I love my bed, so I feel really grateful every single time that I wake up and I've had a really great sleep. Feeling gratitude for having a nice hot shower. It can be really simple things. So having a positive mindset is absolutely crucial. And then doing little things throughout your day that can release stress, that can be really quick. We've spoken about this in other episodes. It can be, just 1 minute of like deep breathing. It can be a short walk around the block, even if you don't have time, just that whole activity of pumping blood through the body, releasing a little bit of cortisol and allows you to feel a little bit more grounded, more centered. These are short, snap, very effective things that you can do. Laughter is a beautiful way of reducing stress, and it also produces lots of feel-good chemicals that boost your immune system. So those are very basic and simple things that you can do immediately that don't require you to go to a class, that don't require any type of financial investment, that you can begin to incorporate every single day that will have a significant impact on boosting your immune system.
And I think obviously we're definitely going to have to do we might even do a couple of episodes on the immune system because stress and the immune system are quite closely linked. And so we definitely will explore that in a lot more in-depth detail then. But another one of my tips from a coaching perspective and a nutrition perspective would be to drink plenty of water, because this is probably the number one thing I have to drum into clients on a daily basis, is that you have toxins in your body, you have debris and you have rubbish that your cells are actually expending from themselves all the time. If you don't have enough fluids in your body will automatically start draining fluids from organs, your brain, from your blood, all of those other systems. And what happens is you end up dehydrated. So you need to get plenty of nice, clean, filtered water into your body every single day. If you don't have a filtration system, I highly recommend that you look into getting one of those so that you can get rid of any heavy metals or other chemicals out of your water supply, so that you are drinking nice clean water. So about 2 litres a day is a good starting point, and that is usually a hard goal when you're starting. So think about how you can actually anchor yourself into drinking plenty of water, whether that's another particular activity you do, and every time you do that activity you go, oh, okay, I'm starting doing that, I'm going to drink some water. Or it might be setting an alarm in your phone or on your emails or on your computer. It could be anything like that, but you need to be getting plenty of water. I cannot stress enough how important that is to your immune system.
Absolutely, I agree with you, Tracey. And getting into the habit of having a really nice big glass of water first thing in the morning can be really good. It's good for your digestion. It allows you to suppress a little bit of hunger as well, so that you can really clean out anything that does need to be cleaned out. And from a psychological perspective, we really need to be hydrated to think properly. So thoughts, I want you to think of them as like little electrical currents, right? Circuits in the brain going off. It needs water to conduct thoughts quickly. If we are dehydrated, we're not going to be thinking properly. We're not going to be processing information easily, and this will create more stress. And once again, stress, puts a lot of pressure on the immune system. So water is absolutely crucial. And I was going to say, that's what I was going to say. I was like, I had a thought.
You need to drink some water. Your synapses aren't, the little electrodes aren't connecting well. Would you like some water? Beep, beep.
So we often forget about drinking water, especially in colder months. Really great to drink some warm water and maybe just put some lemon rind in there or a couple of peppermint leaves. I want you to think about it. If you have a plant, generally when the plant is well hydrated, the leaves are perky, it's firm, it looks healthy. The minute the plant is dehydrated, everything's floppy, it looks lethargic, it doesn't look healthy. We are very similar. So allow yourself to get into these little routines of, okay, when I drink my glass of water, I'm going to take 3 deep breaths. Or when I arrive, having like a water bottle with you when you go in the car and slowly sipping. If you struggle with large amounts of water, sipping can really help. Having cups of tea throughout the day is also really fantastic. So these are little things that you can do. For our listeners that know me, you know that I go ocean swimming every single morning, and immersion in cold water can boost your immune system significantly. Always follow any medical advice or anything like that, if you do have any kind of condition. But there are so many things that you can do. I have definitely noticed my body much stronger, more resilient, less affected by the cold. And I just genuinely feel so much better, more alert, more happy. And those things are conducive to having a stronger immune system.
Great. And just on that as well, so you mentioned about going into the ocean and the cold therapy, but coming down to movement and what that looks like. So I know that it's cold, But even just doing some gentle movement is really important in making sure you're keeping a nice, strong, healthy body. So there's no reason why you can't do a bit of weight training at home. Weights are amazing. Weight training is fantastic. Resistance training. It doesn't mean you have to go outside in the cold, because sometimes that's just not appropriate for some people. I know that as myself, being asthmatic, that sometimes going out into the cold and trying to go for a brisk walk can actually be quite difficult when it's in the cooler times of the year. But you can do some weight training. You can definitely look at doing some indoor exercises, joining a sports group, doing something that is more of a team environment. Get yourself active and out into the community as well, and do some exercise, do some stretching. Really important that you're getting that movement and stretching your muscles as well. That's probably the most important point about important point. It's the most important point. You know what I'm saying, right? The most important part of exercise is to stretch before and after, and that prevents injury.
And when we stretch the larger muscles in the body, like the thighs, the buttocks, even like your arms and your abdomen, we are actually releasing feel-good chemicals. And once again, your mindset will have a massive impact on your immune system and your well-being.
So I know that we're only going to touch really briefly on this particular topic because this is our Q&A segment. And so another one, obviously, don't smoke. If you do actually smoke, that is going to deplete your immune system quite significantly. It does lower the body's ability to fight disease. So I'm just putting that out there. Maybe this is the time now to get you motivated now that we are going into winter. Might be the time, if you have got that sort of smoking habit, to rethink that and have a good think about how that impacts on your immune system. So hopefully that has answered the question for our really lovely listener who wrote that in. But like we said, we will be putting together a much more in-depth episode, or probably a couple of episodes, on the immune system and its relation to stress and nutrition and all those sorts of things.
So for all our listeners, get some really awesome sleep, some exercise, a little bit of laughter, some breathing, and allow yourself to strengthen your bodies. And thanks so much for tuning in.
Okay, catch you later.
The information, views and opinions expressed on this podcast should not be used or treated as a substitute for nutritional, medical, psychological or other advice by a qualified health professional. Hosts and guests on the podcast express their own opinions, experiences and conclusions. Nothing in the podcast should be used to diagnose, treat, cure or prevent any medical condition. The podcast is not intended to replace any medical or mental health treatment. All information and advice provided is for general well-being and does not take individual cases into consideration. Neither Tracey Saltis, Kali Alfaro, or any sponsor endorse the opinions, views or conclusions expressed or shared on the podcast. Tracey Saltis and Kali Alfaro take no responsibility for any symptoms or consequences as a direct or indirect result of the podcast.